My sophomore season as an Iowa quarterback had gotten off to a rough start, but after I led us to a last-second victory against Northwestern, I had won the favor of the coaches and the fans, and I was getting my first start in Kinnick Stadium against Purdue. I knew we had to win this game to have a chance at a bowl game since our schedule only got tougher from here, and we got off to a great start as I was throwing strikes to my receivers over the middle. I was able to get us inside the red zone with my passing, and after a rushing touchdown, we took an early lead. After starting out my first 2 games with a lot of nerves, I was feeling great today. The Kinnick crowd was loving me after I rolled out and threw a dot across my body for a big gain to Luke Lachey. They hadn't seen a quarterback who could run like I could for a long time. We were up 10 midway through the second quarter, and I was making this Purdue defense look like Swiss cheese. I continued to use my legs to extend plays and throw dots despite repeatedly getting lit up by the pass rush. I was letting it rip, and I delivered a strike to Craig Ostrander to put us up 17. Kinnick Stadium was absolutely jumping as they were finally getting to see some good offense, and with 20 seconds left in the half, I made one of the best throws of my life and led Ostrander beautifully down the field. Me and my high school teammate were lighting up the Purdue defense, and after going up 25, I decided to show off my legs a little more and hit a nasty spin move. Kirk Ferentz took me out as we crushed the clock, but I'd had a great performance at home, and I was feeling better throwing the ball than ever. Our next matchup was a huge rivalry game against Wisconsin, and I got off to a nice start with an easy dump-off pass to Caleb Johnson. Unfortunately, Brian Ferentz was calling draws on 3rd and 9, and I was having a tough time getting into rhythm. I was trying to make plays with my legs to get our offense going, and on 3rd and 4, I showed my toughness by putting my shoulder down and getting the first down despite my 5'5" frame. Unfortunately, this led to me getting sidelined with an injury until the 3rd quarter, and we were down by 21. I didn't have much time to lead us to a comeback with our slow-moving offense, so I knew it was time to make some big plays. On 3rd and 7, I got out of the pocket and hit an absolute bomb to Craig Ostrander, and Caleb Johnson was able to punch it in for the touchdown. We missed the extra point, but I was locked in and dotting up this tough Wisconsin defense. On this play, there was absolutely nothing open. I got away from the pressure and showed a crazy burst of acceleration to get us all the way inside the 20. I misfired on 3rd down, but we decided to go for it on 4th, and I hit Ostrander again for a clutch conversion. We punched it in on the goal line, and we were able to get the 2-point conversion and make it a 1-score game. Our defense got a huge stop, but Brian Ferentz was calling tentative run plays, and I was so mad when he took the ball out of my hands when I'd single-handedly led us back into this game. On 3rd and 15, I was not a fan of our play call, but I knew I had to make do, so I threw a laser to Arlen Bruce for a conversion. Then, I made my first big mistake of the day. On this speed option, I couldn't get my pitch out, and it turned into a fumble that Wisconsin scooped up. Just like that, we were down 14 with only a minute left. I tried to lead us down the field, but I got injured again, and I had to watch from the sideline as we made the worst play call of all time with no timeouts left. We took a tough L to our rival, and I'd played well, but I felt like my turnover and the bad play calling cost us the game. Our next game was at Illinois, and the snow was falling as I threw a rope over the middle. But then I missed a wide open target on 3rd down, and Brian Ferentz made the terrible 4th down play call of a screen that got completely snuffed out. We were off to a slow start, but midway through the second, I rolled out and found Arlen Bruce deep down the field. I was getting back into a rhythm and hitting passes with perfect precision, and we were able to punch it in for a passing touchdown. My teammates were going crazy in the snow, but I was staying locked in. With time running down in the half, coach was letting me try to make something happen, and I did just that as I hit Lachey over the middle. Even though Deontay Vines dropped an easy touchdown catch, I was able to get us into the end zone with a dump-off pass to LaShawn Williams. Our offense was figuring things out, and I was finding my tight ends like an Iowa quarterback should. I was developing great timing with receivers like Arlen Bruce as I drove us back down the field despite getting crushed by D linemen, but we got stuffed on the goal line and had to take the field goal. Up 5 with time running down on the clock, we converted a huge 3rd down. I hit Lachey on the sideline, and we were able to run down the clock and get out of Illinois after my best performance yet. Next up, we had a real challenge at number 4 Michigan, and I was determined to pull off an upset in the Big House. Brian Ferentz called a QB draw to start, and I made a wicked cut to run for the 1st down. The 100,000 fans screaming at me in the pass rush were making me nervous, but on 3rd down, I hit my first completion to get it to 4th and short. On 4th down, I was shaky, so I decided to use my legs. I ran to my right and got the easy 1st down. Brian Ferentz was actually having me run a lot more than usual today, and I was showing my athleticism with my acceleration and cutting ability. On 3rd down, I was running for my life, and I was so gassed I felt like passing out, but I outran the defense to pick up the 1st down. We called one too many QB run plays, and I got injured after a rough tackle. Luckily, my offense finished the drive, and I came back in to throw a dot to Arlen Bruce. I was getting into a rhythm despite the big moment and finding my favorite targets as I hit Lachey to get us into the red zone. On 2nd and 6, I got away from the pressure and chucked up a prayer to Bruce, and he made an an insane one-handed catch. We were hyped up as the big house was completely silenced. I was becoming a dual threat quarterback like I'd never been in high school, and I was doing a great job of navigating away from pressure and letting my receivers get open. Unfortunately, there was nobody open on second down, and my prayer got snatched out of the sky for a pick. My teammates had my back, and after Michigan finally got on the board, I found Bruce again on the corner strike, and he was making great plays after the catch. I knew I had to make up for my pick, and with time ticking down under a minute and a half, I rolled out and found my boy Ostrander in the end zone for another passing touchdown. We had a third down to open the second half, and after I hit Bruce on the in, he beat his man and took it all the way to the crib for a huge 70-yard touchdown. One of Brian Ferentz's stupid draw plays actually worked to get us a long touchdown, and we were able to drain the rest of the game clock to pull off a massive upset behind my 3 passing touchdowns. Our final game of the regular season was against Nebraska, and we had to get revenge on them for last year, and I got into a nice rhythm early. The game was finally slowing down for me as I was finding easy pre-snap reads for big gains, and my wide receivers were doing a great job of making plays after the catch for me. On fourth down, I took an option play up the middle for a big conversion, and I didn't like our weird goal line play call, so I got out of the pocket and was able to waltz in for an easy touchdown. Unfortunately, I spent the rest of the first half getting flattened by the pass rush, and we were down 10-7 midway through the third. Arlen Bruce was my number one target at this point, and I knew he'd win on an in route 90% of the time. Our line was playing terrible, so I was having to get the ball out quick, and I was doing a good job, but it was hard when I didn't have time for routes to fully develop. On 3rd and 13, Nebraska sent the house, and I finally took the top off the defense with a dot to Keegan Johnson that he took to the house to put us up 4. Our defense got a stop, but unfortunately, getting hit so much was starting to get to me. I forced a pass and overthrew it for a bad interception, which Nebraska cashed in for a touchdown. With just over 3 minutes left, it was up to me to lead a game-winning drive. I found Ostrander over the middle, and I was doing my best to stay cool under pressure and find my favorite targets to get us into the red zone. On 2nd and goal, I overcame my fatigue and ran away from everybody for the go-ahead touchdown run. Nebraska had one last chance to score, but they messed up their clock management, and I had led us to yet another clutch Big Ten victory. To my shock, we were somehow in the Big Ten championship game against Ohio State, and their team was stacked. This was going to be the toughest game of my career, and I was definitely feeling the nerves as my passes were way off target on my first couple drives. We were down 14-0, and this game was already at risk of getting out of hand, so I made a play with my legs like I had all year and stiff-armed my way into OSU territory. I finally got the passing game going with a clutch third down completion to Keegan Johnson, and with pressure in my face, I threw a strike to get us into the end zone. Unfortunately, Ohio State answered right back with 7, and I was getting bum rushed, so I continued to use my legs to extend plays with time running down in the half. Then, Ohio State made a big mistake. Their corner got lost in coverage, so I delivered a beautiful deep ball to Keegan Johnson for a massive touchdown. We were right back in the game going into the second half, and I continued to throw dots with pressure flying at me. I scrambled again and was able to zigzag my way into Ohio State territory for a first down. Ostrander was hyping me up, and I continued to clutch up and convert big third downs with bullets to my receivers. On 3rd and goal, I hit Ostrander on the drag for the touchdown, and we just needed one stop, but OSU scored again. I was faced with another 3rd and long, but I was feeling it as I floated a pass over the top for a big Luke Lachey catch. Every time we got to 3rd down, I would come up with a big play, and we were working our way deep into Ohio State territory. With time running low, we got stuffed on 3rd and 1, and I was faced with the biggest 4th down of my life. With a trip to the Rose Bowl on the line, I found Arlen Bruce for a first down, and we punched it in to tie the game. Just like that, we were in overtime, and Ohio State scored immediately. I found Ostrander like I had been all season, but Brian Ferentz kept making bad run calls that got blown up before they had a chance. On 3rd and 13, nothing looked open, so I extended the play and kept my eyes downfield for the biggest touchdown throw of my life. It looked like I was going to lead us in for another score, but on 3rd down, I made my first mistake and it cost us the Big Ten title. I was devastated that I threw a pick when we were so close to a huge win, but I hoped we'd be back for revenge next season. In the Duke's Mayo Bowl against FSU, they jumped out to a huge lead before I even threw a pass. My normally sure-handed receivers were dropping balls and we were just not looking right as we went into half down 24. We were outmatched, but I was still giving it my all and trying to drive us down the field. FSU's coverage and pass rush were honestly very tough to move the ball against. We finally had something going late in the third as I was finding open receivers up the seam, and I was able to get us into the end zone after a wide open scramble. Time was running out, but I continued to throw dots to try to get us back in the game, and I got us within 10 with another throw up the seam to Lachey. Unfortunately, FSU scored another touchdown, and we just could not make it happen. It was a bad day all around, and we finished with a bizarre 7-7 record, but I felt good about how I turned a bad season into a near Big Ten championship. I put up pretty decent stats for my first year, and our offense was somehow going to be 99 overall going into next season.